TC, Spiritual Shepherd. Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today, I am talking about believing in oneself. Believing in oneself. Now, you might have peers, family, friends, anybody around you who might not believe in you, okay? I've overcome this, and I've actually regained and rekindled friendships and familyships and relationships that have really built and cultivated, because sometimes the communication and the hey, I'm not who I used to be conversation is actually the best one to have. Sometimes you can have the conversation. Sometimes there are people that are journey friends in your life that they are on your specific path and hero's journey for a given set period of time. And you might not have that chance to rekindle, or you might not want that chance to rekindle. That's okay, and that is fine too. There is forgiveness. You don't necessarily have to forget. But I would definitely suggest to forgive. Forgive people, because generally most people are operating in unconsciousness and unknowingness and maybe potentially unwillingness to learn and to grow and to be better for families, friends, relationships, etc. So in this, guys, it's to believe in oneself. Look, nobody's going to believe in you as much as you will believe in you. Now, they can believe in you, but they'll only generally believe in you a percentage of what you fully believe in yourself. So if you believe in yourself 50%, they will generally believe in yourself 5%, 25%, a percentage of what you fully believe in yourself. Now, if you believe in yourself 100%, then, and you continuously exude this confidence, they will start to gravitate like the Doppler effect, like the Pareto principle, and gravitate more towards that 80 percentile, where 20% they'll question what you're doing, but 80% they'll generally be like, we support what you're doing, we know that you can handle your own, this type of vibe. Now, one important thing, guys, is that on this channel I talk about being the person that you've always needed, being the person that you've always wanted to cultivate, and also being the person that you feel like you've always wanted to become, starting to be that person and not seeking that person outside of you, because you've sought that person outside of you your entire life. The whole thing is that as we start to build and cultivate ourselves, we will start to believe in ourselves more, trust in ourselves more, and we are creating the human being for our family and our friends to depend upon. Okay, we are ultimately creating the best version of ourselves. By creating the best version and the most high version of ourselves, falling into line, cutting the ego out. As we do that, we are actually being better in our relationships, in our familyships, in our friendships, and in the cultivation of anybody that we know in our connections, our soul tribe, our family. You guys get what I'm saying? So one thing, guys, is start to believe in yourself. Some of these people, depending on where your journey is, see, we're all in different chapters. Don't compare someone's chapter 12 or chapter 20 to someone's chapter 1. You see what I'm saying? And that's a big thing too, is that we do that a lot. We do the compare and contrast. We always compare ourselves to other men, other women. We always do this to all this type of stuff in this society, specifically in the Western culture and Western civilization, if that's what it really is a civilization, because I don't know how civil it really be. But ultimately, guys, is that on this part of the planet, I want you guys to understand that generally people compare themselves because they feel less than. There's insecurities, there's different types of things like this. There has to be a detachment where you can start to be secure. If you are insecure about other people, the way that other people are living, the way that other you should be able to detach yourself from anybody. I know that sounds kind of like terrible, but that will actually make the relationship better. Every single person, make the relationship better. The problem is we fall too much into frame of others, and we generally do not fall into frame of self. We don't capital self, like not ego, not like your egoic self, like I'm TC, not that type of person. I'm talking about the light inside of us, Christ inside of us. You fall to that frame because it's generally going to be the more narrow path. It's generally going to be the harder path. It's generally going to be the path of more suffering. It's generally going to be the longer path. It's going to be these types of things. It's generally going to be a Spartan race. Now, there are ways too as well. I do want you guys to understand that there is ways to reframe the brain and revise the brain to make things easier, to attract things easier, to cultivate things easier. And the only way that we do this is believing in oneself and believing in yourself and other people. Believing, okay, if you have a problem with another person, you need to start to see yourself, which you have on a pedestal over this person. You need to start to see that version in them too, and it might just be asleep. And that's fine. That's where their journey is. One thing I've learned is that being patient with other people's paths. There was this thing where it says, be aggressive with your own awakening, but be patient to awake sleepers. Be patient to awake sleepers. That does not mean that you do not be on purpose or live on purpose like I'm doing, where I'm awakening people, I'm arising people, I'm helping people transcend and build their consciousness up and actually comprehend what consciousness is, understand living conscientiously, living a certain way, having living congruently with your habitual construction, living congruently with the Most High, ultimately building specific habits that will funnel you and throttle you forward exponentially, compound interest. That's what I'm talking about, is habit stacking. As we start to do this, as we start to believe in ourselves, this is the same thing. As we build ourselves more and more, as we start to believe in ourselves more and more, that also has a compound interest effect. Habits are the compound interest of self-improvement. This is what James Clear has said in Atomic Habits. So as we start to build better habitual construction, more positive habitual construction with the congruence of the type of being that we want to imitate, which is Christ, Socrates. That was literally in Ben Franklin's 13 Virtues. Imitate Christ, Socrates. If you imitate these two types of beings, you will understand and overstand how to truly live. You will start to live more as a free being, more as a sovereign, authentic, aboriginal, authentic, authoritative being. As you start to cultivate like that, that is funneling us forward. But a lot of us lose frame in other people. What is he doing? What is she doing? I want to do what they're doing because they're doing it. Fear of missing out, comparison, jealousy, envy, gossip, negative insecurities, anxieties, worries. If you guys are on these vibrations, this is telling you to start to look at the positive frequency of the vibration that you're already currently on. So if you are emitting worry, it's actually starting to, what is the opposite vibration of worry? And then use that same energy of worry to channel it. I know this is alchemization at its finest and really getting to it. So for example, guys, anxiety. I always tell people anxiety and excitement have similar etymology in it. Anxiety, excitement. You see the etymology is very similar. Also with this, guys, is that anxiety and excitement are very similar vibrations. They're same vibrational wavelengths. One is negative, one is positive. People are like, I'm anxious. And then people are like, I'm excited. So when you are feeling anxious, you need to start saying, what is going to happen? And you need to start saying, what is going to happen? What is going to happen? Like, I'm so happy. What is going to happen for me? Now, what is going to happen to me? What's going to happen to me? What am I going to experience? If you're in that type of vibe, you need to start chilling out and you need to start being more like, what's going to happen to me? What's going to happen for me? What is some greatness that God is going to bring into my life presently? And have those types of contemplations, have those types of affirmations and, questions that you are, speaking, that you are using. Okay. And so we don't attract what we want. We attract what we are. So if we are on a very high vibratory, calm, parasympathetic vibration, a very meditative state, a very patient state, as we are patient with people, as we are patient in traffic, which I'm working on, as we are patient with people, as we are patient with public, as we are patient with, you get what I'm saying, as we are meditative in everyday life, as we are meditative when we're running, as we are, calm while we are doing long distance suffering, as we are calm entering an ice bath, as we are still minded in these types of things, this will start to really cultivate. This will really start to cultivate where you're like, yo, anxiety is just a product of mindsets. It's a product of mindsets and experiences that starts to beget you in a way that you start to identify with the anxiety as your person. Anything that follows I am follows being, follows what your being is. You are a human being. Hu meaning light, man meaning living, okay? And then being. You are a light living being, okay? And so this is ultimately, I want you to understand this, y'all. Before we end this, if you are being on the frequency of anxiety and you are claiming, oh, I'm anxious. No, you're not anxious. You are experiencing anxiousness. There's a difference. There's a little bit of a difference. There's definitely a difference. And when you say, I am late, you are saying that I know that sounds crazy. Or when you say, I am worried or whatever, instead, it's better to claim positive things. I am joyful. I am, and then positive things, or positive things. There is a negative positive and a positive positive. So happily crying. So that's tears of joy. You know what I'm saying? Or you get what I'm saying. And so you could do that on multitudes of ways, on different wavelengths. And so that's a very important part, guys, is that as you start to cultivate this, as you start to build on this, this is how you change your vibration, and you start to transmute and believe in yourself. If you keep believing all the lies that you've told yourself your entire life, and you don't dissociate from your ego. Yes, I'm encouraging you to dissociate from your ego. You guys always look at it as negative, but what if your ego's been, a crazy, neurotic, anxious, worrisome, hurrysome type of person your whole life? I would definitely encourage you to dissociate from your ego. If you've been, an emotional eater, and you've been always unorganized and always late, and you've always, been frustrated and always angry or always this, I would definitely encourage you to disassociate from your ego. I would definitely recommend it, because then there's a reassociation factor to it. There's a revision technique. There's a reframe technique. There's a new self technique that you put on, which is, I am positive, I am grateful, I am organized, I am scheduled. But you have to start to be that person. You have to start to identify as that person, and not identifying as, I'm anxious, I'm frustrated. Because then you are going to continuously experience what you are. We attract what we are. We don't attract what we want until we are what we want. Until we are what we want. And when our isness, when our beingness is what we want, then we are that, and we will no longer want it. It's the law of assumption. I'm trying to bring it to your guys' face. I'm really trying to tell you. And this is also how we pray. We don't pray as we beg. We don't pray to beg. We don't beg like, oh, please, please, please. That's not how we're instructed to pray. We're instructed to pray as if we already have it, or as if it's already given to us, which means that we must change our words just a slight bit, just a little bit. So thank you. Thank you for this being never even having to enter the hospital because they're already a healthy being. Thank you for their health. Thank you for my health. And it's more in gratitude types of prayers and affirmations than in begging and in pleading and in you get what I'm saying? There's a needy energy to that. And then there's a having energy. Needy and having energy. You attract what you are. You attract having, or you attract needing. And so then you'll always have something to need. You'll always attract having something to need. But here's the thing. We don't always have to attract that type of vibe. We continuously attract having and having and having and having and having of having. See what I'm saying? We continuously attract having of having. We just are naturally abundant. We emit natural abundance. This natural abundance is Christ, because it's internal. You don't need stuff and materialism and fame and all this stuff outside of you. You are naturally feeling embodied abundance. I'm going to leave this one here, guys. Peace, much love, namaste. Check out the book Neville Goddard Collection. This is all about the law of assumption. There's over 400 verses of law of attraction and law of assumption in the Bible. This book it's 14 books in one. It's $19, so I know that it's affordable for literally everybody. And one thing about this, guys, this book can change your life. 100% can change your life. Now, check out my course, also in the description. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Share this with someone that you feel is of value. And I will see you tomorrow. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.